I've only had one job in my career, in my whole life, right? I was working in a supermarket in my teenage years. I was working there as a grocery bagger. Like I bag groceries. Like, you know, in the checkout line, and I would be the one bagging the groceries, right? And I was very good at it. Because most people, they would kind of do it half job, right? Versus they call me a double bagger. You know what double bagger is? I can manage 2 lanes. Most people can manage one. I'm doing this, right? Even though I didn't like the job, I hated the job, but I was doing that. Did that for like far close to 1 year, and that was the only job I ever had in my life. Now, from that experience, and I experienced a lot of things. I had a manager that's kind of an ass, right? So he was yelling at me and all that, asked me to scrub toilets and all that stuff. But I've learned something very, 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 very important from that job. Would you like to know what that is? Hello? I am unemployable. How many are unemployable? Yes. Meaning you can't work for people. You don't want to work for people. You want to do your own thing, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And I was making, I think at the time, $8.25, whatever the minimum wage that it was back then. So what shifted my life from a minimum wage worker to now $25K? And whenever I say $25K an hour, a few years ago I was charging 10, now it's $25K. I usually get 2 types of reactions, right? The first reaction was, no one spends that kind of money, right? It's like, what, right? It's usually a disbelief, and it's usually a little bit like, what? How can you charge people that kind of money? You can't charge people that kind of money, right? So please write this down. Whenever you hear high ticket, if it makes you uncomfortable, it has nothing to do with the seller. It has to do with who we are, who you think you are, and who you think you are not, most importantly. Now I'm looking at 25K. You know what I'm thinking is, well, Tony Robbins charges $1 million a year to coach somebody. Well, I got a long way to go. I've charged too little. Because how high is high? It has nothing to do with the time. What someone pays me for 25K, they're not paying me for my time. What are they paying for? Hello? Value. Yeah. If that 1 hour I can give them a strategy and let a plan that makes them $1 million and $10 million, well, 25K is a no-brainer. Yes? Right? But if I charge 25K and they walk away with no value, then that's a big problem. Right? And since I've been doing that for 10K to 25K, I'm very proud. I've never, ever had one incident, never, well, not once, people say, oh, that's not worth it. Not once. And that has to do not just with the value, please write this down, it also has to do with the type of clients you work with. Because anyone who spends that kind of money, they are resourceful. They're what? They're resourceful.